Australia's formal name is the Commonwealth of Australia. The form of government used in Australia is a constitutional monarchy. Constitutional because the powers and procedures of the Australian government are defined by a written constitution, and monarchy because Australia's head of state is Queen Elizabeth II. The Australian colonies had inherited an electoral tradition from Britain that included limited franchise and public and plural voting. Abuses such as bribery and intimidation of voters stimulated electoral change. Australia pioneered reforms that underpin the electoral practices of modern democracies. In 1855, Victoria introduced the secret ballot, which became known throughout the world as the Australian ballot. In 1856, South Australia eliminated professional and property qualifications and gave the vote to all adult men, and in 1892 gave adult women the vote. In the 1890s, the colonies adopted the principle of one vote per person, stopping the practice of plural voting. Australia's government is based on a popularly elected parliament with two chambers, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Ministers appointed from these chambers conduct executive government, and policy decisions are made in cabinet meetings. Apart from the announcement of decisions, cabinet discussions are not disclosed. Ministers are bound by the principle of cabinet solidarity, which closely mirrors the British model of cabinet government and responsible to Parliament. Now you might be wondering, who is this man? This is Tony Abbott, the Prime Minister, the leader of the Coalition and the Liberal Party of Australia, after his party defeated the Australian Labor Party at the 2013 federal election. The Prime Minister of Australia is the highest minister of the Crown, leader of the Cabinet and head of government, holding office on commission from the Governor-General of Australia. The office of Prime Minister is, in practice, the most powerful political office in Australia. Despite being at the apex of executive government in the country, the office is not mentioned in the Constitution of Australia, and it exists through an unwritten political convention. Barring an exceptional circumstances, the Prime Minister is always the leader of the political party or coalition with majority support in the House of Representatives. The only case where a senator was appointed the Prime Minister was that of John Gorton, who subsequently resigned his Senate position and was elected as a member of the House of Representatives. The Commonwealth of Australia was formed in 1901 when 6 independent British colonies agreed to join together and become states of a new nation. The rules of government for this new nation were enshrined in the Australian Constitution, which defined how the Australian government was to operate and what issues it could pass laws on. The birth of the nation is often referred to as federation. This is because the Constitution created a federal system of government. Under a federal system, powers are divided between a central government and individual states. In Australia, power was divided between the Australian government and the 6 state governments. The Australian government, sometimes referred to as the Commonwealth government or the federal government, passes laws which affect the whole country. Section 51 of the Constitution defines a number of issues that the Australian government can make laws on. These are the 3 arms. The legislature or parliament is responsible for debating and voting on new laws to be introduced under the power of Section 51. The executive is responsible for enacting and uploading the laws established by the legislature. Certain members of the legislature are also members of the executive with special responsibilities for certain areas. The judiciary is the legal arm of the Australian government. It is independent of the other 2 arms and is responsible for enforcing the laws and deciding whether the other 2 arms are acting within their powers. Although the 6 states joined together to form the Commonwealth of Australia and the Australian government, they still each retain the power to make their own laws over matters not controlled by the Commonwealth under Section 51 of the Constitution. State governments also have their own constitution, as well as a structure of legislature, executive, and judiciary. Territories are areas within Australia's borders that are not claimed by one of the 6 states. Territories can be administered by the Australian government, or they can be granted a right of self-government. Self-government allows a territory to establish its own government in a similar manner to a state. The Constitution of Australia allows territories to become states with the approval of the Commonwealth legislature. Local governments are established by state and territory governments to take responsibility for a number of community services. Local government have a legislature and an executive, but no judiciary. Their powers are defined by the state or territory government which established them. So now you must be thinking, why invest? As the executive chairman of Global Switch, John Corcoran, said, with the Asia-Pacific region at the center of global growth, Australia is in a unique position as a safe and reliable location from which to service that market. Here are some factors that might help you decide. Australia provides a 24-hour access for global organizations. This allows for the country to easily trade, ensure proper international growth without any time restrictions or barriers. Australia does not need to elect a new person for a new term. This reduces a heavy amount of expenditures in election. There is no misuse of money or authority. Initially, this results to minimal chances of corruption. By 2050, nearly two-thirds of the world's population and consumption will take place within the Asia-Pacific region. Australia has 7 free trade agreements in operation, and the Australian government has earmarked $522 million to assist nearly 1,200 new research projects funded by the Australian Research Council.
Powered by Video.